जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। Hare Krishna dear devotees. So today is Tuesday. It is 25th of March. It is Chaitra Masa or Vishnu Masa, Krishna Paksha and Ekadasi Tiri. So we shall read a few lines from the Ekadasi Vrata. So today is fasting from grains, beans and cereals. So about the pastime of Ekadasi, Yudhishthira Maharaj is inquiring from Krishna. O Supreme Lord, I have heard from you the explanation of Amalaki Ekadasi, which occurs during the light fortnight of the month of Falguna, that is February and March. And now I wish to hear about the Ekadasi that occurs during the dark fortnight of the month of Chaitra. What is its name, O Lord, and what results can one attain by observing it? The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna replied, O best of kings, for the benefit of everyone, I shall gladly describe to you the glories of this Ekadasi, which is known as Papa Mochini. The history of this Ekadasi was once narrated to the Emperor Mandhata by Lomasa Rishi. King Mandhata addressed the Rishi, O great sage, for the benefit of all people, please tell me the name of Ekadasi that occurs during the dark fortnight of the month of Chaitra, and please explain the process for observing it. Also, please describe the benefits one gains by observing this Ekadasi. Lomas Rishi replied, the Ekadasi that occurs during the dark part of the month of Chaitra is named Papamochini Ekadasi for the faithful devotee. It removes the influences of ghosts and demons. O Lion among men, this Ekadasi also awards the 8 perfections of life, fulfills all kinds of desires, purifies one's life of all sinful reactions, and makes a person perfectly virtuous. Now please listen to the historical account concerning this Ekadasi and Chitrada, the chief of the Gandharvas, heavenly musicians. During the spring season, in the company of heavenly dancing girls, Chitrada once came upon a beautiful forest bursting forth with a great variety of flowers. There he and the girls joined other Gandharvas and many Kinnaras, along with Lord Indra himself. The king of heaven, who was enjoying a visit there, everyone felt that there was no better garden than this forest. Many sages were also present, performing their austerities and penance. The demigods particularly enjoyed visiting the celestial garden during the month of Chaitra and Vaishakha. A great sage named Medhavi resided in that forest, and the very attractive dancing girls would always attempt to seduce him. One famous girl in particular, Manjugosha, contrived many ways to allure the exalted Muni. But out of great respect for the sage and fear of his power, which he had attained after years and years of asceticism, she would not come very close to him. At a spot 2 miles from the sage, she pitched a tent and began singing very sweetly as she played a tambura. Cupid himself became excited when he saw and heard her perform so nicely and smelled the fragrance of her sandal paste unguent. He remembered his own unfortunate experience with Lord Shiva and decided to take revenge by seducing Medhavi. Using the eyebrows of Manjugosha as a bow, her glances as a bowstring, her eyes as arrows, and her breast as a target, Cupid approached Medhavi in order to tempt him to break his trance and his vows. In other words, Cupid engaged Manjugosha as his assistant. And when she looked at that powerful and attractive young sage, she also became agitated by lust. Seeing that he was highly intelligent and learned, wearing a clean white Brahmana's thread draped across his shoulder, holding a sannyasi staff, and sitting handsomely in the ashram of Chavana Rishi, Manjagosha came before him. She began to sing seductively, and the small bells on her belt and around her ankles, together with the bangles on her wrists, produced a delightful musical symphony. The Medavi was enchanted. He understood that this beautiful young woman desired union with him, and at that instant, Cupid increased his attraction for Manjughosha by releasing his powerful weapons of taste, touch, sight, smell, and sound. Slowly, Manju Ghosh approached Medhavi, her bodily movements and sweet glances attracting him. She gracefully put her tambura down and embraced the sage with her two arms, just as a creeper winds uh, itself around a strong tree. Captivated, Medhavi gave up his meditation and decided to sport with her, and instantly his purity of heart and mind abandoned him. Forgetting even the difference between night and day, he went away with her to sport for a long, long time. Seeing that young yogi's sanctity had become seriously eroded, Manju Gosha decided to abandon him and return home. She said, "O great one, please permit me to return home." Medhavi replied, "But you have only just arrived, O beautiful one. Please stay with me at least until tomorrow." Fearful of the sage's yogic power, Manju Gosha stayed with Medhavi for precisely 57 years, 9 months, and 3 days. But to Medhavi, all this time seemed like a moment. Again she asked him, "Please permit me to leave." Medhavi replied, "Oh dear one, listen to me. Stay with me for one more night, and then you may leave tomorrow morning. Just stay with me until after I have performed my morning duties and chanted the sacred Gayatri mantra. Please wait until then." Manjughosha was still fearful of the sage's great yogic power, but she forced a smile and said, "How long will it take you to finish your morning hymns and rituals? Please be merciful and think of all the time you have already spent with me." The sage reflected on the years he had been with Manjughosha and then said with great astonishment, "Why, I have spent more than 57 years with you." His eyes turned red and began to emanate sparks. He now regarded Manjughosha as death personified and the destroyer of his spiritual life. "You rascal woman, you have turned all the hard-earned results of my austerities to ashes." Trembling with anger, he cursed Manjughosha. "O sinful one, O hard-hearted, degraded one, you know only sin. May all terrible fortune be yours. O rascal woman, I curse you to become an evil hobgoblin Pishacha." Cursed by the sage Medhavi, the beautiful Manjughosha humbly beseeched him, "O best of the Brahmanas, please be merciful to me and revoke your curse." O great one, it is said that association with pure devotees gives immediate results, but their curses take effect only after 7 days. I have been with you for 57 years. O master, please be kind to me. Medhavi Muni replied, "O gentle lady, what can I possibly do? You have destroyed all my austerities. But even though you have done this sinful deed, I shall tell you a way you can be released from my wrath. In the dark fortnight of the month of Chaitra, there is an all auspicious Ekadasi that removes all one's sins. Its name is Papa Mochini. O beautiful one, and whoever fasts on this sacred day becomes completely freed from having to take birth in any kind of devilish form." With these words, the sage left at once for his father's ashrama. Seeing him enter the hermitage, Chavadmuni said, "O son, by acting unlawfully, you have squandered the wealth of your penances and austerities." And Medhavi replied, "O father, kindly reveal what atonement I must perform to remove the obnoxious sin I have incurred by privately associating with the dancing girl Manju Ghosha." Chavanamuni answered, "Dear son, you must fast on Papamochini Ekadasi, which occurs during the dark fortnight of the month of Chaitra. It eradicates all sins, no matter how grievous they may be." Medhavi followed his father's advice and fasted on Papamochini Ekadasi. Thus, all his sins were destroyed and he again became filled with excellent merit. Similarly, Manju Ghosh observed the same fast and became free of hobgoblin curse. Ascending once again to the heavenly spheres, she too returned to her former position. Lomasha Rishi continued, "Thus, O king, the great benefit of fasting on Papamochini Ekadasi is that whoever does so with faith and devotion will have all his sins completely destroyed." Shri Krishna concluded, O King Yudhishthira, whoever reads or hears about Papa Mochini Ekadasi obtains the very same merit he would get if he donated 1,000 cows in charity, and he also nullifies the sinful reactions he may have incurred by killing a Brahmana, killing an embryo through abortion, drinking liquor, or having sex with his guru's wife. Such is the incalculable benefit of properly observing this holy day of Papa Mochini Ekadasi, which is so dear to me and so meritorious. Papa Mochini Ekadasi ki jai. Okay, so that is the Papa Mochini Ekadasi Vrata. So today is fasting from grains, beans, and cereals. Okay, so apart from that, no other events. So we shall quickly move into our daily Srimad Bhagavatam. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय हरे कृष्ण in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So Vidura, he is inquiring from Uddhava about the Yadu family. So after finishing each and every member of Yadu family, inquiring about them, later on he started inquiring about the Pandavas, starting from the Yudhishthira. And then he also inquired about Bhimasena. So just giving indication of there are little glimpse of their glory. So yesterday he was inquiring about Bhima. Kimva कृतागेषु अघमति अमर्षि भीमो अहिवद्भिर्गतमं व्यमुञ्चत् यस्याङ्घ्रिपातं रणभूः नसेः मार्गं गदायाः चरुतो विचित्रम्. So appreciating the Bhima's prowess, at the same time Bhima's revenge against the Duryodhana and his sinful brothers. So whether Bhima is doing well, whether he has finished or whether he has released all his anger, just like a cobra releasing the venom, whether he has released all his anger on Duryodhana and company, the children of Dhritarashtra, whether Bhimasena is doing well, likewise Vidura is inquiring from Uddhava. So in that sequence, so he has asked about Yudhishthira Bhima, now coming to Arjuna. So he's asking whether Arjuna is doing well. So who is always famous with his Gandiva bow and arrows, and no one can withstand his arrows. Likewise, appreciating his archery skills, and also once upon a time he has covered Lord Shiva with all his arrows, and he has pleased Lord Shiva as well. Likewise, Vidura is speaking to Uddhava, asking the well-being of Arjuna, whether he is doing well, like that. We are in the Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter 1, verse number 38. कश्चिद् यशोदरदयूदपानं गाण्डीवधन्वो उपरता अरिः आस्ते अलक्षितो यत् चरकूटघोडो माया किरातु गिरिशस्तुतोषः. Kashchid Yashoda Radhayudapanam. Kashchid, whether Yashoda is the famous. Yashaha Dha, famous. Kashchid Yashoda Radhayudapanam, among the great chariot warriors. So he is the greatest among chariot warriors. Gandiva Dhanvo, and he is having the Gandiva bow with him. So that Gandiva bow, it was with the Varuna, Agni Deva, he has got from Varuna and gave it to Arjuna. So during the that Kandava forest, burning of Kandava forest during that time. So this is the Gandiva Dhanvo. Uparata Arihi, one who was vanquished the enemies. Uparata Arihi Aste, whether he is doing well, whether Arjuna is doing well. So who has got Gandiva Bhav and who is the greatest among the chariot warriors? Alakshito yat Sarakota Ghodo Alakshitoho Alakshitaha. So alakshitaha is without being identified. Yes, yet Sera Kota Ghodo, yet whose Sera Kota Ghodaha being covered by the arrows, Maya Kirato Girishaha Tutosha. Maya Kirita, the false hunter. So Lord Shiva, he was disguising himself as the false hunter, and then coming to fight with Arjuna. Tutosha, and Lord Shiva was satisfied with Arjuna's response. And Arjuna, there was a fierce battle has happened. It was the time that in the forest exile, uh, it was the time that Yudhishthira and all the Pandavas, they were exiled by the false dice game. And then during that time, Yudhishthira needs to get his brothers, saying that they need to get all kinds of weapons. But here Arjuna was only the hope. Whereas Yudhishthira says to Arjuna, my dear brother, so Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and Ashwadhama, they are great warriors. They have been maintained by Duryodhana. Definitely in the Kurukshetra battle, they will support Duryodhana. So now, from our side, you are the only hope for us. You need to get the celestial weapons uh, to battle with all these great personalities. And then, so during that time, Vyasadeva comes to Pandavas and then he gives the Pratismriti mantras. These are Pratismriti mantras. And then he gives the instructions to Yudhishthira and Yudhishthira on the right time. So, but if he gives Pratismriti mantra to Arjuna, immediately he will go to and then for the meditation to please all the demigods and get the weapons and he will come back. But he doesn't know how much time it is. But due to the separation, he waited for some time and then later on he spoke on an auspicious day while all the Brahmanas are chanting the Vedic hymns. And Yudhishthira spoke that Smriti mantras to Arjuna. And then Arjuna, by taking the rounds around Pandav, all other brothers, and then Daumya, and while all other Brahmanas are chanting Vedic hymns, and then he started running. And also Draupadi was also mentioning that you need to get all the celestial weapons. We have got lots of duty to do it. And then Arjuna, he ran in such a way, like with the speed of a mind from that place by chanting that mantra, Pratismriti mantras. And the same day morning too, by the evening, he has reached the Mandara mountain. And when he has climbed that beautiful Mandara mountain, there was a great sage on the top of the mountain. He was asking, why you have come here with bow and arrows? So actually, that was actually the Indra. And then later on, he says, uh, and Arjuna says that I am here to fulfill my brother's desire. So I would not cast away my weapons here. So, and then later on, the Brahmana revealed himself, I am Indra. So, and Arjuna was pleased. Then Arjuna says that, so please give me all your weapons. Then he says that one, you first please, Lord Shiva, I will give my weapons and all demigods' weapons as well. So when he was sitting there and meditating, so Arjuna's meditation is unparalleled as well, like the Dhruv Maharaj. Arjuna in the first month, so eating only 3 days of one fruit and meditated with deep concentration. And then in second month, 6 days one fruit, he meditated still again. And then in third month, every fortnight. And in the fourth month, he just ate only the air. And then standing on only one foot and then keeping his hands upraised and meditating with a deep and from his body too much smoke was coming and all other celestials they went to the Lord Shiva and then approached him and asking that so Arjuna is doing meditation, oh my dear Lord, oh Mahadeva, so please help us. Then Lord Shiva says that I know why Arjuna is meditating there. I will fulfill you, just go on. The similarly how Dhruv Maharaj also meditated, standing on the toes and then the first month, second month, third month, fourth month, fifth month, and then Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu has appeared to Dhruv Maharaj. Likewise, Lord Shiva, but Lord Shiva has appeared like the hunter. Is the Maya Kirita along with the Uma Devi and all the hobgoblins. They also took the form of hunting positions, and then hunters later on with the Lord Shiva's arrangement. He has made one Danava as a boar. At that time, boar was trying to kill Arjuna, And Arjuna looked at that boar and he took his arrow and then trying to shoot it. At the same time, Lord Shiva also shooted it. And later on, both has released their arrows and that boar was died. And then Arjuna says, speaking to that hunter, why did you kill this one? Because it is insult to me, because I have shooted this first. And then he also mentioned that I live in this forest, I know each and every part of this forest. And then there is a conversation, uh, and then that conversation goes that Shiva wanted to test Arjuna. He infuriated Arjuna that you are saying that you have shooted this, but actually I did that one. And then Arjuna got furiated, and then he wanted to test the Arjuna's prowess. So both has used these arrows. So at the time, Arjuna, this is the Alakshito yet Sarakota Ghodo. He has covered that hunter with all his arrows. Sarakota Ghodo. And then even Lord Shiva also, he has counteracted all those things. And then it goes for a very while, very long time. And then later on, Arjuna was thinking that no one can withstand the arrows released from the Gandiva Bhav. But he's not an ordinary personality. So I will use my celestial weapons. And he started using all of them. But they also did not harm Lord Shiva, though he is disguising as hunter. And later on, his quivers, inexhaustible quivers, they got disappeared. And now he took his bow, that is Gandiva bow, and trying to fight with that one, with Lord Shiva. So even that one also got into the body of Lord Shiva. And then later on, he took his rocks and trees, he tried to fight with. They have no harm to Lord Shiva there. And then he personally go on a battle with his hands, the fists, and then both has fought together. Even Lord Shiva also uh, reciprocating with Arjuna in the similar way. It is um, the code of battle. So if one person does not have weapons, other person has to keep weapons aside and fight with the similar combat. And then so they both used their bodies together, and then later on, in that grip of Lord Shiva, Arjuna got tired. And then whenever Lord Shiva released, Arjuna was bit uh, unconscious. He fall unconsciousness. Later on, he just opened his eyes, and then he sees the Lord Shiva. And then later on, he said, Lord Shiva appreciated Arjuna's prowess. And that is how this is Girishaha Tutosha. Lord Shiva was very pleased with Arjuna's prowess and his courageous. So Alakchito yet Serakota Ghodo, Maya Kirato Girishaha Tutosha. Lord Shiva was satisfied. So Arjuna was not an ordinary personality. So here he has able to meditate on Lord Shiva in a controlling all his senses in a perfect posture. But in the Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Krishna in the Kurukshetra battle when Krishna was speaking Bhagavad Gita at that time, he mentions to uh, Krishna saying that when Krishna spoke about Dhyana Yoga, oh Krishna, you are speaking to me Dhyana Yoga. It is not possible for me to do it. See, he mentions, but here he has done this everything, achieved it. But for the liberation perspective, that is not an ordinary thing. Pleasing Lord Shiva, it may be easier, but pleasing the for the liberation, so people have gone many austerities. But there he says, "Yoyam yoga swaya proktaha samyena madhusudhana." Napastyami param bhutam. So he says that I do not know how. It is very difficult. I can control the wind, but I do not see to following the dhyana yoga principles, whatever you are saying to me. So there are same Arjuna mentions to Krishna. Later on, Krishna speaks Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga. So just here mentioning here, Arjuna, he is such a personality. He has done that meditation here already proved, but still he mentions to Krishna. Okay, so that is here Vidra is glorifying Arjuna's prowess and asking whether Arjuna is doing well, like that. कश्चित् यशोदा रथयुतपानं घाण्टीवधन्वो उपरत अरिरास्ते अलक्षितो यत् सरकूटगूढो मायाकिरातो गिरिशस्तु तोषः गिरिशस tutosha. The translation for this was Please tell me whether Arjuna, whose bow bears the name Gandiva and who is always famous among the chariot warriors for vanquishing his enemies, is doing well. He once satisfied Lord Shiva by covering him with arrows. Then Shiva came as an unidentified false hunter. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay. So can I request any unallocated devotee to read this purport, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Can you read?
Yes, Mataji.
Purport by Jivananda Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Shiva tested Arjuna's strength by picking a quarrel with him over a hunter boar. He confronted Arjuna in the false dress of a hunter, and Arjuna covered him with arrows until Lord Shiva was satisfied with Arjuna's fighting. He offered Arjuna the Pashupati weapon and blessed him. Here Vidura inquired about the great warrior's well-being. Srila Prabhupada, please. Thank you.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji. So this Pashupati weapon, it is Lord Shiva's weapon. So like Lord Shiva has got Pashupati weapon, Lord Narayana has got Narayanastra. So these were used. Pashupati Astra, Arjuna has used this weapon in order to kill Jayadratha. So during the time, so to chop off Jayadratha's head and directly make it fall into the head, into the lap of his father. His father was meditating somewhere else. So he has used that Pashupati Astra during that time. And when he uses this Pashupati Astra, so it releases so many other weapons like darts, clubs, and many other things like that. But whereas Narayanastra, it is released, it cannot be counteracted by the weapons. If Narayanastra is released, one has to simply bow down, offer his obeisances, and falling on the ground, Dandavat Pranam, then it would not do any harm to that personality. So that Narayanastra was released by once by Bhagadatta unto the Pandavas and camp, and then so at that time there was a again when Lord Krishna, Bhima was not bowing down to it when enemy is used. Then Krishna went on and hugged the Bhima's body, so he did not harm anything. And then Narayana turned as if garland, and it went on to the neck of Krishna. So and similarly, once Ashwadhama also used Narayanastra, and then likewise they all fall bow down to the Narayanastra. So that is the, and whereas Pashupati Astra it released so many other weapons. So they were used, and also during the battle of Lord Shiva and Lord Krishna, they were used these weapons. So Narayanastra defeated Pashupati Astra. So, and then later on, Narayana Jwara and Shiva Jwara, they were also both combated. Those are the most fearful weapons above this Narayanastra and Pashpatastra. So later on, this Shiva Jwara is the so much of heat, and the Narayana Jwara is too much of cold, and then both combated. And then Sivajwara, which is having of three heads, it was defeated and came to the shelter of Krishna to protect from the Narayana Jwara. And then he protected that one, gave the shelter to that Sivajwara as well, and then thinking that Lord Shiva can't do anything. And then Lord Shiva later on, this is the battle of Lord Shiva and Krishna for the Usha and Aniruddha's marriage. Okay, so that is how later on Lord Shiva prayed to Krishna to protect Banasura. So, but here, just that is about the Pashupati weapons. Arjuna has placed Lord Shiva here by his fighting. Okay, so that is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, that Vidura is inquiring about Arjuna here. Kaschid Yashoda Radhyota Gandhi Uprada Ariraste Alakshito Yat Cherakota Ghodo Maya Kirato Girishastu Tosha. Okay, so that is from Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shall move to Srila Prabhupada's daily letter. So today letter to Shyama Sundara, July 19th, 1970, Los Angeles. Can I request Usha Mataji to read this letter, please? Sorry, today is Tuesday. Okay. Okay, can I request another unallocated devotee to read this letter, please? Prabhavati Sachi Mataji, if you can read this one as well.
Hare Krishna. My dear Shama Sundara, please accept my blessings. I am so glad to receive your letter dated 10th July 1970. Before that, I received one postcard from you in Amsterdam. I am expecting your letter since a long time, but I could understand that you were busy. You were very busy with Rath Yatra festival, and I am very glad to learn that this time you made Lord Jagannatha's car as strong as a worship. I can see from the picture it is very sturdy and tall also. Your report for organizing village school in England is very encouraging. Similarly, I have received report of Am- uh, Amsterdam, also very nice. So it can be easily guessed that Europe is a very good field for spreading this movement. So, in consultation with the Tamala, kindly take up the grammar school organization immediately. In childhood, the impression taken continues lifelong. So, try to train little English and Dutch boys to be accustomed to chant and dance. I am so glad that your daughter Saraswati is growing nicely nicely Krishna conscious. I always remember about your daughter's moment when she was coming upstairs in escort and sitting by me. May Krishna bless her to grow a Krishna conscious child. You will be glad to know that her picture catching my hand is now published in our ISKCON handbook. Regarding, sorry, Prabhuji. Regarding Krishna book, one copy was sent from Japan directly to George's address. Attention of your name. Perhaps George has got it. Please inquire and see to it. Brahmananda has arranged to send your 2500 copies of Krishna in London. Please try to sell them quickly and send the money. I can print the second part of which is already prepared. In the first volume, the pictures are so attractive that in San Francisco, during the car festival, 22 copies were sold immediately. I hope you will have very good market for this book in European English speaking places. Regarding George Harrison, I think you have, sorry, Prabhuji. Regarding George Harrison, I think you have sufficiently helped him. He has also rendered service to Krishna. Undoubtedly, so gradually, surely he will improve in Krishna consciousness. There is no doubt about it. In my previous letter, I inquired if George requires some copies of Krishna for free distribution up to his friends. In that case, you can give him 50 to 100 copies as he desires. You are expecting to see me, but I also expect to see the London Rath Yatra, but you made no arrangements. So, what can I do? So, let us meet by Sankirtana. I also do not feel separation from my sorry, I also do not feel separation from my Guru Maharaja. When I am engaged in his service, his picture gives me sufficient strength. To serve the spiritual master's word is more important than to serve him physically. Please try to open as many branches as possible in European countries. Regarding your program for the regarding your program for the grammar schools, Yogeshwara wants to write some books for children. So let him write and introduce them in the schools. If nice pictures are inserted, the book will become very popular. I have already said, again I repeat, go from village to village and get them interested in Krishna. You write to say that your nice devotees are coming Oxford graduates, etc. and there is demand for temples by the people in many countries like Sweden and South Africa. These are all good newses. So try to utilize these opportunities. When I hear all these things, immediately I wish to go myself personally. Please offer my blessings to Murari. I do not know if his wife Leelavati and daughter are already there. Hope this will meet you in good health. Your ever well wisher is Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. If you want, I can dispatch 4 sannyasis for this preaching work. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada ki jai. Can you take your points, Mataji, from here?
This is a very big letter, Prabhuji. Yes, there are really few points I can't remember very well. Anyway, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning to Shyamasundara Prabhuji regarding the Rath Yatra festival. Srila Prabhupada, I think before I received it. So Srila Prabhupada is saying was expecting the letter from long time, but I think Shyam Sundar Prabhuji was busy in Rath Yatra festival arranging and everything. So Prabhupada is saying that he can understand, and he was very um, happy to see the card, picture of the card, and yeah, he was expressing his happiness, and also regarding the opening the school, organizing the village school. Srila Prabhupada is encouraging nicely. And So it is easy to spread Krishna consciousness moment. He's explaining, and also he's giving instructions to consult His Holiness Tamala Krishna Maharaj regarding I think what I understood here regarding the English grammar school organization to take his opinion and guidance as well. And so, the children will pick up so easily, and it is a nice idea, according to what I understand. Is and also Srila Prabhupada is mentioning about Sham Sundar Prabhuji's daughter Saraswati. I think we have heard also always Srila Prabhupada is talking about how she was dancing and all, but and Srila Prabhupada is mentioning the how she's growing nicely, and he's really blessing her to become grow in Krishna conscious, and he's reminding about the picture. She was holding the hand of Srila Prabhupada, such an fortunate devotee. I must say, Saraswati. Uh, it, Her daughter Saraswati, I'm sure she is very fortunate to be closely associated with Srila Prabhupada during her childhood. And also, he is mentioning about, um, I think that it is the picture of Srila Prabhupada and Saraswati, which was published in Handbook of ISKCON. And regarding the Krishna book, Srila Prabhupada is saying try to uh, print, I think, more copies, and I think that's what I understood here. And they were going very quickly as well. And Srila Prabhupada is asking him to arrange to send more copies to London. And another thing Srila Prabhupada is mentioning about George Harrison, um, how he is helping, and also Srila Prabhupada is really admiring his service rendered in Krishna consciousness. And also, he's saying that he will definitely gradually grow in Krishna consciousness as well. And he's also saying about copies of Krishna. Is that the pictures? I didn't understand. Yeah, he's advising to send George Harrison 50 to 100 copies so that he can also distribute his copies of Krishna, so that he can distribute his friends as well, which I understood. And regarding the London Rath Yatra, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning also, uh, and he wanted to come, what I understood in here, but I think he wasn't able to. And Srila Prabhupada is mentioning about spiritual master. Actually, Srila Prabhupada is saying the physically we don't have to have association with eh, gurus, so we can always have take the picture, and yeah, we can serve spiritual master. uh, Not, it's not important that we have to serve physically, so we can uh, do the Guru Puja and worship him through the picture also. So this is very important. Always, what I understood in here is the presence of the spiritual master is not physically is not very important. Remembering him and serving him um, uh, and following his order, which is very important. And so what that is what Srila Prabhupada also was doing all the time. And regarding the grammar school, I didn't understand very well, but Srila Prabhupada is mentioning about the grammar school as well. Yogeshwara Prabhu wanted to write some books for children. So I think this is a very good idea also. Srila Prabhupada is selling. I have already said, yeah, he is advising them to go to village and spread Krishna consciousness. And I think lastly, he's mentioning about the devotees coming to Oxford who are all graduates, and there is a demand for I think countries like Sweden and South Africa, which is all because that time the ISKCON was really growing, and Srila Prabhupada is very happy to hear this news, and he's encouraging them to utilize the opportunities. That's it, Prabhuji. I think that's what my takeaway point. It's such a big letter. Sorry. You can add more. Thank you so much. Very good.
Thank you, Mataji. Very beautifully explained. Yes, it's a big letter. And Prabhupada addressed many points here. So main point is the spiritual master's word is more important than to serve him physically. Okay, so that is a strong statement. Okay, any other comments, dear devotees, if you wanted to add? Okay, so that is from Srila Prabhupada's letter, and also opening the demand for temples by people in many countries like Sweden and South Africa. So temple, it is the beautiful place where people gather and worship the Lord in a happy and jubileous way, in a blissful to very blissfulness. So we can achieve when we are worshiping in the temples. Okay, this is all auspicious. That is the beauty of it in India. Okay, so yeah, that is one thing I can just reflect. An instruction to go from village to village and get them interested in Krishna. Okay, so that is from my takeaways as well from this letter. And from the updates perspective, so today evening we have got preaching practice session with Sridhar Govindas Prabhuji at 8 p.m. That is our upcoming event. Hangma Mataji, wanted to add anything?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Sorry, I pressed it by mistake. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Mataji? Okay, any other updates you wanted to share? Okay, if there are no further updates, then we shall conclude and continue with further japa. वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय। शिल प्रभुपाद की जय।
Yes.
हरे कृष्ण कॉन्शियस एवरीवन।